This video is going to show you how to solve equations in terms of a variable. If I look at this equation, I'm actually going to solve for t, which means when I'm done, I'm going to find out that t equals something. Now it says in terms of a variable. When I look at this equation and I solve for t, I notice I have t's, u's, and v's. I have many different variables, which means when I solve for t, it's going to be in terms of the other variables. I'm going to have the other variables over here in what t equals. So let's go for it. When I go to solve this, the first thing I notice is how messy the equation is. This left side is a giant fraction, and this right side is also a giant fraction. Whenever I have two fractions equal to each other, that's called a proportion. And I'm going to go ahead and solve the proportion using one technique called cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to multiply down here, the denominator. I'm going to go across and multiply with the numerator. So I'm going to end up doing 2 times this whole numerator, the negative 4t minus 10v. And then I'm going to cross multiply going the other direction, the other side. This denominator is going to multiply across up to this numerator. And of course, once I do this cross multiplication, there will be no fractions. I've got this multiplication, which I just said, the negative 10, times this whole numerator, which is why I wrapped it in parentheses, negative 3t plus 10u. So this side now equals this side, and there's no more fractions. So now I just need to solve this better looking equation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute. It's negative 10 times everything in there. There's actually two separate little terms in there. So it's going to be negative 10 times a negative 3t, which turns into positive 30t. And then a negative 10 times the plus 10u would be negative 100u. Equals, now I'm going to go back and I'm going to distribute this side. It's 2 times all of that. So when I distribute that in, I'm going to have 2 times the negative 4t, which makes negative 8t, and then 2 times the minus 10v, which is still minus, but it's 20v. Now I can go ahead and solve this new equation. Now that I look at it, I see, of course, always think about your goal. My goal is right here. T equals what kind of stuff? I notice I have a t on the left side, and I have some t's on the right side. Now I don't care about what the rest is. I just need to get those t's by themselves. I don't like t's on both sides, so I'm going to get rid of one of them. I always recommend getting rid of a smaller one, especially if it's negative. To get rid of this, I'm going to add 8t to both sides. These cancel, and then I like to draw a line to write my new fresh equation. So now I have 38t over here. I still got the minus 100u equals, and now over here I just have negative 20v. Okay, so I've almost got the t by itself. I just have some stuff over here to get rid of. There are no t's over there anymore. So let me go ahead and fix this side. I want to get t by itself. So first I'm going to get rid of this minus 100u. I'm going to add 100u to both sides. And of course these cancel. And now I'm going to rewrite my problem. I have 38t on the left equals, now I have this stuff on the right. I got negative 20v and plus or positive 100u. Those are not like terms. I can't combine them. So I'm just wondering which one I should write first. Since this one's positive, I'm going to write the positive 100u first, and then a negative 20v, which is just like a minus 20v. Okay, I've almost got t by itself. What I need to do is I need to get rid of that 38. I'm going to divide both sides by 38. Now I got to divide this whole side by 38, which means I'm dividing the whole right side. That's now the numerator. These 38s cancel. I like to draw a fresh line. Don't confuse that for a division line. But what I have over here is a t, and what I have over here is 100u minus 20v. And all of that is divided by 38. Now, we might say we're done, however, we should always try and simplify. This is a fraction. And if I look at all the stuff on top, and I look at the stuff on bottom, I can see that 2 goes into all of that. You sometimes might see a different number that also goes into it, but 2 obviously goes into all this. In fact, when I look up at the top, all that stuff up top, the 100 and the 20, I could think of 20 actually goes into both of these. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go up over here, and I'm going to sort of work with that. T equals, now what I said was that 20 goes into both of these. 20 goes into that, and 20 goes into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to undistribute or pull out a 20. So I'm going to pull a 20 out. I'll keep that in red. Now I might think about what's left over. If I pulled a 20 out, what's left over inside? Well, this is like reverse distributive property. Over here we'd multiplied a number 2 into everything inside. Now we've pulled a 20 out, so what's left over? I like to think about if I distribute it back in. 20 times what that is left over would give me the 100u. Well, 20 times 5u. 20 times 5u would give me the 100u back. And then I'm going to do the same thing with right here. I had a minus 20v, but I pulled a 20 out. So what's left over? Well, 20 times minus what would give you minus 20v? You should just think about a plain old v. 20 times the v, the minus v, would give you minus 20v. Okay? So I pulled out a 20 out of all that. And now I still have a 38 on the denominator. Now here, this is looking pretty good, but we're still not quite done. So let me unbox that. I can see up top 20 times all of that, and then of course all of that is divided by 38. Since I'm multiplying by 20 and I'm dividing by 38, what I can do is I can cancel those, reduce those. I can see that 2 goes into both of those. So I'm going to get ready to write another answer. Switch colors on you. 2 goes into there 10 times, so I'm going to have a 10 left over. 2 goes into there 19 times, so I'll have a 19 left over. I should write that right here. And of course I still have my 5u minus v. This is the ultimate answer. We did a lot of things. We cross-multiplied, we distributed, we solved an equation for t, and then we simplified by factoring out and canceling. So there you go.